Back.
I'm sorry, technical difficulties.
Okay. So, well, if there's some people online that we missed for the audience of citizens, now would be your time. Well, we could reopen that for a moment. Guessing there probably isn't. So, not hearing anybody, we will, seeing any raised hands, we'll go ahead and close that. And we will move on to our, and thank you, Donna, for going through that. And we'll go to our consent agenda, folks. I know you've looked at it all. We have 8 items here. I'm not going to read.
It's only going to be items 1 through 7.
7. Okay.
8 was already set.
That's all set? Got it. So 1 through 7?
Yeah.
Yes, read through. You guys have read through it. I know we have. Just accepting, most of them are accepting donations and waiving some fees for the wine and beer tasting event at the fairgrounds, and approving some for the Dragon Road Race in June. So with that in mind, we'll go ahead and take a motion on the consent agenda.
I move we accept items 1 through 7 on the consent agenda.
Thank you. Second. Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the council members? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, so moved. Okay. So we are now on to our public hearing. And we'll call this public hearing to order. We are here at Town Hall today for the purpose of holding a public hearing on the following.
You have attached to your packet.
Yep.
First person version for the hereby convene public hearing.
Oh, that one. Yes, there's that one. Yes, it can be the public hearing for the $4 million water line installation tank repair project, 2026 appropriation and bond ordinance. The ordinance, which is the subject of this public hearing, is available to the public and may be obtained at this meeting from the town clerk. So first of all, is there a motion and a second to read the title of the following proposed ordinance and to waive the reading of the remainder of the ordinance, incorporating its full text into the minutes of this meeting? So we need a motion. Just to,
So
really just to
an ordinance
read it.
appropriating $4 million for water line installation on the Berlin Turnpike and tank repair, and authorizing the issuance of $4 million in bonds the town of the town to meet said appropriation, and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose.
Yes, second. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion passes. So we've read what the ordinance is for, and now there would be time for comments from the public. If there's anybody in the public who has anything to say about this ordinance, now would be the time. You're all part of the public hearing. Anybody has? Don't all line up at once. Okay. All right. All right. We don't hear anyone. We'll go ahead and go on to the town council. I know we've discussed this before, and anything, folks, that you want to add? We good? Everybody's good? It does have to be done. Yes, it does. Only if we want some water, but yeah, we don't need water. Yeah, no, it has to be done. There's no choice. Infrastructure repairs got to be done, especially with our water system. So, all right, hearing no other comments, I will call the public hearing on the $4 million water line installation and tank repair project bond ordinance closed. All right, so thank you. All right. So we're at new business. Do we want to make a motion to add? I'd like to make a motion to add the town manager's report, which we're going to.
Want to change
Yeah, I think we want to change the order and going forward that I think we were talking about, and we could talk about it later, but that we have the town manager report at the beginning of our agenda before the new items, because I think by the time all of us, even sitting up here and the audience has mainly left, we're up here, it's 10 o'clock at night. Ryan gives his report and there's great information in his report for, for not only for us, but for the public, not that they can't look at it later when the recording's done, but I think it would be helpful to get his report up front as we go forward and tonight. What do you
So
think?
my suggestion.
Yes.
For you not to necessarily make a motion,
Yes,
but for you to move up his report.
yes, we can do that.
After after the manager's update, is that where you want it?
Yeah, we'll put it before, it would be after the consent agenda, before new business.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just move it up.
All right, we're gonna move it up. Do we need a motion or no? We're good?
I think you can do a motion saying that you'd like to move up the town manager.
All right. There,
I move that we move the town manager's report to following the
the
consent
consent
agenda.
agenda. All right. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, so moved. So with that, you're on early.
I got
Wow.
wrapped up. Good evening.
We're not tired. We're all listening. We're all paying attention now.
Request
It's
to be
great.
brief. I like
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Take your time. You get all night now. See, look at that.
I'll go through this quickly.
No, it's
There's,
fine.
it's a lot of good stuff. So thank you all. So just to get started, I want everyone to be aware that the Board of Finance has been holding budget meetings, and they finalized their approved budget last week. And so the budget now goes to an annual budget hearing, which will be held on March 31st at 6 p.m. in the McGee Middle School auditorium. And so as the budget currently stands, the budget for fiscal 2027 calls for a 0.76 mil increase that would bring us to 31.42 mils. This would be a 2.5 increase in taxes over last year overall. This includes a 3.35% increase for the Board of Education and a 4.07 increase to the town. Currently combined, it's at 3.7, and the town also includes a number of capital items at the moment. And so I just want everyone to be aware of that. After the annual townwide or annual budget hearing, the budget then goes before this council. So this body will be able to make modifications if it so chooses at your April 7th meeting, at which time you will send the to referendum. So the budget will go to referendum, which will be townwide on April 28th. So please mark your calendars and head to the polls. So, okay. Also, next up was I would like to move the manager's report up so we can check that off. I want everyone to know that the town clerk's office has been revamped. It's very nice. I want to thank our facilities department for doing a really great job on that. We posted some pictures on social media, and also the tax office had a refresh as well with new ceiling tiles, panels, and lighting. I normally give an update on the YMCA. We will be spending plenty of time on the YMCA shortly, so I'm going to skip that. I want you all to be aware that our current town website is coming to an end. They're sunsetting. We received the notification just not too long ago that the company Core, which hosts our town website, is no more. They're not carrying forward the hosting capabilities after the end of this calendar year.
What a shame.
So I'm sorry to inform you, we're going to need some new pictures and
Ah,
photographs. It's funny looking at staff and seeing some people have aged over the years, you know? So, but it's a good time to do a refresh. I've been
Yes,
meeting
nice.
with our IT department, Kate's office, as well as a number of town
great.
offices to go over potential vendors. We believe we found a suitable vendor
Oh,
called
nice.
Revise. They've done this in a number of municipalities. They're in throughout the state. They seem both affordable, and we believe there's going to be some better options for our residents to get
Right.
information out. So the intent is to use this as an improvement. We want to make sure that our website's more accessible, easier, friendlier
Yeah,
to use.
great.
Certainly ADA compliant and all the things that go into that. So stay tuned on that. I will be coming before you all it will be a bid waiver for the request because it's a multi-year contract. But it isn't a ton of money, but I just want you all to be aware and for the folks present that the town will have a new website a year from now. So stay tuned on that.
Nice. Long time coming. We were just talking about that actually. Yes. The other day.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
time.
that's great. It is time. Way overdue. So that's wonderful news.
Mayor Mark and myself recorded our first of our podcasts at Berlin High School last Friday. It was pretty cool. We talked about a number of topics that are important to the town upcoming, the YMCA project, the senior housing project with Vesta, and the splash pad at East Berlin Pool project as well. So that's going to be coming out, I believe, this Friday. And I want to thank again everybody, superintendent, as well as everybody at Berlin High School for being helpful with this. And the intent is to do this monthly, and hopefully we can invite more people on in different departments. Really, we want to just educate the town, bring people up to speed about all the good work that all our departments are doing. And then with that, the town's also partnered with the company that has been doing the It's All in Berlin videos, and we're going to be doing some more both photography. We realize when we have a town event, we don't have a photographer for our annual appreciation day, police swearing in ceremonies. I mean, there's all sorts of things. So we have a designated photographer now for events, as well as we're going to be doing some videos to help get more engagement throughout the town. So I think it's a good thing. Stay tuned on that as well. And then lastly, I just want to go over some key dates with you all this evening. There's an Easter candy hunt that Parks and Recreation is putting on. That's Saturday, May 28th, starting at 1 p.m. Berlin Youth Services has a drive-in movie night, and this is going to be April 11th from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Berlin High School. It's in the parking lot, and it's a double feature featuring Lilo and Stitch and Mamma Mia. So that should be pretty fun. Opening day at Timberland is coming up. I met with Saul's online. I met with him this morning, actually. It looks like the range is going to be opened up on Friday, March 27th, and opening day should be sometime between the 27th and April 1st. So stay tuned. There's going to be, of course, an opening day for that as well.
Sorry to interject. You said the Easter candy hunt.
Yeah.
You said May 28th.
March 28th.
Yeah, I was gonna,
Excuse me.
yeah, I thought that might be late for the Easter egg.
I must have been looking at Yankee Peddler Day.
There we go.
So Kate and the Berlin 250 committee have been doing a really great job putting that together. It's going to be a Veterans Park from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and there will be parking available at the Legion and VFW. So stay tuned for that. And then lastly, summer concert series are back with the town partnering with St. Paul for concerts. We have the band Stay Tuned will be June 18th. That's the first night. Locomotion will be playing July 26th, and Downtown 6 is coming on August 20th. So more to come, but just want to get those dates out there while I can. And that is my manager's report this evening. Thank you.
Question. I was at the golf course the other day. I noticed they took a lot of trees out. Do you know why?
Yes, it's part of our bunker project, which is just starting again. Saul is on when he's got an agenda item. Actually, Saul, I don't know if you want to speak to this, but I believe it was hole 18 that needed to do work, and we came to the council to ask for some trees to be taken down as part of the bunker project. So it's all for safety and to improve the course.
Okay, thanks.
Saul, did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
As you're pulling into it on both sides, all those trees were cleared.
Oh, that's separate from the bunker project. We had safety issues on cars leaving the golf course that they couldn't see cars coming from the road.
That's right.
So we cleared some trees off there to help cars leaving the property.
So Saul, are we gonna do something with the trees that are sticking up? It looks like a hurricane went through.
Really? Oh, no.
Well, definitely, this is just the start of it.
All
We
right.
have a plan to that we're going to talk to the golf commission about this Thursday, and the plan is to beautify it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Saul. And actually, lastly, I forgot that our library director, Carrie, had sent me this today. The library does a strategic plan every 3 years or so, and they just refreshed where they're at with and updated. The last strategic plan was from 2024, and I just want to pass this out for those present. You can go through this on your own, but it's just incredible to see all the good work that our library is doing, and they're really sticking to their strategic plan. So if you want to pass this down, thank you.
No problem.
Now I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. So, on to agenda item number 1.
Right. So this is a long time coming. Agenda item number 1 has to do with a potential YMCA coming to town. As you all know, we've been talking about partnering with the YMCA for a long time now, and it's come about, just to refresh for those folks who may not be as familiar with this. The town of Berlin received a grant back in, I want to say 2018. It was a $750,000 grant. And the purpose of the grant was to look at a statement of needs for a potential senior center and also a community center. And so the Commission on the Aging met and developed a statement of need, as well as the Parks and Recreation Commission. QA&M was hired to develop a plan. At the time, the QA&M took all of the information, and they did a good job putting something together that incorporated all of the needs. Unfortunately, it seemed, and this all predates me, but from what I understand, it was cost prohibitive to the town. It probably wasn't going to get approved at referendum, and it probably would have been too costly. So the boards at the time went back, and I believe it was PBC hired Jakunski Humes to do a refresh, which was also expensive and cost prohibitive as well, even with a scaled down approach. So this began the start of thinking outside the box and saying, okay, well, we need to get something approved at referendum, and if we can't get, something that is going to make everybody happy, well, what if we focus on some of the needs that are most important? And so one of the things that came about during those conversations was the need that Berlin has currently for an indoor pool. And so not just an indoor pool, but services that would be for both youth and seniors. And so through conversations, the YMCA was brought into the fold to explore maybe a potential partnership. And so myself, Mayor Mark, we've been having meetings with the Y for many months, over years. And what that's resulted in is we've done a lot of due diligence on the land at Patterson Way. So we're talking about the land across from the high school on Patterson Way, and we're talking about what could get done there. And we know that our high school team doesn't have a local pool that they can use, and we don't have an indoor pool. So this would be one of the main selling points. Now, that grant that we received from the state, it was $750,000. And after all the due diligence that we've done so far, we have just over $500,000 left with it. So a sizable amount. So the thought was, well, what if we could partner with the Y and do a feasibility study where we work with the YMCA on their needs to see what it will take, not just to build a YMCA, but to fundraise and get all the necessities and the amenities that we need for our residents. So it wouldn't meet every goal that was stated in the original statement of needs from the community center and the senior center, but it would meet a lot of them. And it would potentially be a more affordable option, and in all likelihood, something that we could get for the town. And so through these conversations, we reached out to the state through the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. They're the ones that are managing the grant that we have. And they actually really liked the idea. They said that we could do a pass-through agreement with the YMCA, and working with the Y, we would allow them to do the due diligence that they need to explore building a Y, fundraising for the Y, and all of the work that goes into it. And believe me, as you all know, there's a lot of work. You can't just, put a building up. There's a lot of engineering and architecture design that has to go into this. So the plan is that we've talked about is allowing up to $400,000 from the grant as a pass-through agreement. And what that would entail that's what's before you this evening is one item is a pass-through of the grant. Now, the grant has, I want to stress, almost expired a number of times because we haven't used it. We're fortunate enough that we have an extension on the grant now through 2030, through December of 31st, 2029. So we have some time to utilize these remaining grant funds. And I want to stress that the monies that would be allotted to the YMCA would be approved by the town. They would need to follow the town's procurement policy for all of this. And we would say if at any point the YMCA and the town could go separate ways. If it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. But all the due diligence the town would be able to use all this for a future project as well. So the intent is for both parties to go into this with, open, with good faith that we want to make this work. We're at a point where we're working well together and we want to kind of take it to the next level where we have this one pass-through agreement, and two, the other item that is before you this evening would be a negotiation or what's the term for it? A exclusive negotiating agreement with the Y. So those are the two items that are before you. Included also in your packet is the YMCA vision statement, which I think is very important. We have John Benigni, who's the CEO of the Meriden and New Britain YMCA, here with us this evening. So I'll invite John to come up in a minute, but if you go through the vision statement, and I do think it's important, I'm just going to read what the Y is looking to do in Berlin. Our vision for a YMCA facility in Berlin would be to offer an indoor aquatic center for swim lessons, water safety, and a home practice and competition pool for the Berlin High School Redcoats swim team. The YMCA would offer a full-service wellness and fitness center, wellness classes, a gymnasium for the youth sports, after-school programs, and community events. We also envision a day camp, sports fields, outdoor recreation programming, and pickleball. This facility would create fun, active opportunities for kids, adults, and seniors alike. The YMCA will continue to offer affordable, high-quality childcare at our already established Berlin centers. For older adults and seniors, the YMCA would provide expanded, senior-focused programming, including low-impact fitness, aqua aerobics, balance and fall prevention classes, and arthritis-friendly movement classes. The YMCA would also offer social and group activities and more. So just to give you an idea, it really would be a number of amenities for the town if this project does move forward. And so with that, I'll turn it over to John. John's here this evening to answer any questions that you may have, but
try to answer any of your questions you may have. Just on the vision statement, just wanted to add a couple things in there. It's our commitment that no one gets turned away for inability to pay. So there is fees associated with membership. There's fees associated with some of the programs and such. But if you're having a financial hardship, show the ability that you can't afford it, we do scholarship in. So no one gets turned away for an ability to pay. I think that's key. Clearly trying to focus on the seniors and the active older adults here. That's pretty much what happens during the daytime hours at a YMCA. I mean, most of our parents are working, different things like that. So that's definitely what would occur there. I know one question, when I said competition pool, I probably should put in there a diving well, not a diving well separate, but there would be a diving board so you could do both. You could have your swim meet similar to what you have at Flat currently in Maloney. I know you do host some meets there now in Meriden. I know you practice also currently at the Meriden Y, the Redcoats swim teams do. And I know diving goes a separate way. So I think key bringing that complete team swimming and diving under one umbrella. Could be a phase-in approach. I understand that phase one is a pool. I understand that's the most important thing to this, to the community. I get why. I'm a resident of Meriden, but I'm proud to say we have 3 indoor swimming pools and they get used extensively. So I do think that a pool in Berlin is necessary and would be a great asset to the community. Other than that, I commend mayor and the city manager here because it's been a long road, but we're still here. Y's here to stay. We're not going anywhere. We have a growing YMCA throughout our communities. We also have childcare here in Berlin, and we want to do more. But we want to make sure it's feasible for all parties. We can't, and that's why this is important to us to have this study done and feasibility on all fronts.
Thanks, John.
Questions?
Questions? Yep.
Swimming, you know, lap swimming
Mhm.
for the,
Are you Mike?
oh, no,
I can hear you.
I know, but the audience.
oh, okay. I took my other. So you're going to do diving and relay or, you know,
Yes.
lane. So how many diving boards are you going to be able to put in this pool? Or are you just planning to put
I would be planning on putting
just one?
diving board,
Okay,
potentially 2. We would see a minimum of a 6-lane pool, and a diving end where it wouldn't be an additional pool. It would be that same pool has multi-purpose. It could be for diving and for the lap swimming.
but one board, which is going to be difficult to compete that way. I mean, one of my kids was
Big-
on the swim
yeah.
team, so I know that you need more than one diving board, right? If you're competing with diving,
No, they get individual scores.
okay.
So the same, they score it and then they tally.
And then
it
they
at
move
the
up,
end, yeah.
so just the one.
So
okay.
yeah, one diving board. My daughter's a Division III swimmer at
Mhm.
Roger Williams.
And that's what they work
Yeah,
with, just the one?
Dive board. I mean, there's beats that you go to, they have,
Right.
high boards and low boards and stuff like that. But for the high school swimming, I mean, ideally, I'd like to have 10 lanes too. Ideally, I'd like to have 3 diving boards. But I think to make this competition worthy, a diving board, 6 lanes is pretty standard.
6 lanes, okay. And the only other question that I had at this point was, how much of this funding that we still have left do you think you're going to need to do a feasibility study?
Remains to be seen. We'll have to go out to bid, go through the procurement process like the city manager says, and remains to be seen. That's why we went up to and didn't put an exact dollar amount on it. Everything would be approved and, by the town here, so that we're doing the right studies at the right time. And like Ryan said, I mean, if something comes back astray, then we're gonna stop, spending that money because obviously we don't need to do more studies if it comes back in.
And I know your meat and potatoes is childcare.
Hmm.
How many children do you think you'd like to?
This is not intended to be a childcare center. Nope. This is intended to be a swimming pool, potentially a gymnasium, and a fitness center, wellness fitness center.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
You also have plans for outdoor facilities, I understand?
I do. Yep. Outdoor facilities, more field space. When I say field space, from soccer to lacrosse, those type of things, field space, potentially a paved basketball court or court area, maybe some outdoor pickleball areas, things like that. Depending again on the feasibility and the cost of everything, but definitely at bare minimum, field space that could be lined and used for a host of different outdoor grass activities.
And it's the intention that the money that would be passed through would cover everything on here? It would pay for everything on here? That's
The
whole-
intention is to that whole list on there. Yes,
all the way down to final design and pricing phase.
that's the intention.
And everyone to make sure they have their mics on.
Hands on.
Okay, so you have it up here.
You
I get
chastised
yelled
me,
at.
Kate.
People on the,
It's right here.
they say, Kate.
I mean,
Yell at
oh,
everybody
it does. Battle of the Kates. No,
One cake for another cake.
that's right.
Well, I thank you for the opportunity.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
John. And just, on this point too, the intention, at least from the town, of course, if this does work out, I like to consider it more of a public-private partnership, which it will be. We're not closing the senior center. That's not going anywhere. Community center over here, that no plans to close that either. So it's just in addition to those services we have and facilities we have in town. And again, the indoor pool is the big item that we all want, certainly for our swim team and for the residents. So we don't, be great to have a year-round pool. And so we'll see how it goes going forward. We're excited about it. And I think it's a good piece of property. We already have done some initial study on the property that a building can be built there and some fields can be made in the back of that property. So we'll see how it goes moving forward. And yeah, that's far. Sure, of course.
So did we have any plans for this grant money? Like, were there any plans for this money to be used at some point, or we sort of didn't
Well,
have any plans for
We
it?
we used some of it so when we got it in the beginning, because it was the town doing the study.
Understand
Yeah.
that, but I mean, it's just sort of been sitting there and we haven't had a plan for it to use, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
This was a gift from the
Yes.
legislature, really, from what I understand. And
Yes.
so the intent at the time was a community center, senior center. Because of the numbers that came in, the intent now is, okay, because we know how referendums tend to go. And so to not have a situation with a failed referendum, what are alternatives? And that this is how that came about. But there was never a specific plan in place.
Right. No, that's true.
I thought I heard the last year that the Y was going to come in with a proposal for us to look at. I mean, Counselor Prusen's been asking for a year. We all remember. And they come in with 2 pages and they want 400 grand that Joe Arasimowitz got for the town to build planning money to build a community center and pool. There's no way I can support this. I'm not speaking for all of the Democrats. I'm speaking for myself. I've been hoodwinked. We've all been hoodwinked on this. I mean, I had a conversation with a gentleman that who said that it was all nice pictures they gave us. Well, we don't even have pictures here. We don't know what we're getting. We're getting a pig and a poke. All due respect. It's not personal, strictly business. So for that reason and for a couple other reasons, there's no way I can support this.
Peter, to answer that, we also had a lot of discussions and we all agreed, actually, I think this council agreed, if I remember correctly, unanimously to not go with the town plan because we were talking 20, 30, maybe $40 million to build this facility, which after studying all the ones in the state, many of them, we realized many of them are going bankrupt that the towns own. So we all agreed to go forward with the Y, as I recall our vote.
I didn't.
I believe it was a unanimous vote. We'll go back and check the record, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was unanimous to not support the town plan and look at what the Y can do for us
Well,
in a public-private partnership.
We're leaving our seniors in the lurch.
How so?
Well, there's no plan for anything with the seniors
What are you talking about?
on this, whatever this is.
He just talked about what
we'll
they do
talk
for the
cheap.
seniors. But that's what they do in every Y.
Yeah, okay. I'm explaining, I feel hoodwinked.
Well, I don't see how.
We've been asking for a plan for a year from the Y.
So let me just speak. So
plan is one thing. This is the actual study. No one's ever looked at the property or the building other than Park and Rec, which went way overboard. So this is where we would go, even if the town was doing it. So they have to, obviously do this study.
And we paid for that.
Huh?
We
Yeah,
paid
for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been using
Talk about hoodwinked.
the grant monies to do the due diligence on the site for some time. So
Right.
I apologize if my updates misconstrued where we were at with the Y. We've been talking about doing due diligence on the site. So just so far, the town has done wetlands mapping. We've gotten an A2 survey done, topographical survey done of the Patterson Way property, a phase 1 environmental site assessment. We've done a site plan and concepts from QA&M, soil borings, a utility study, and all of that was done with the $750,000.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
So what the conversation, the YMCA is a nonprofit. They don't have funds available to do due diligence on a site that may or may not be a YMCA. We came.
And I voted for that. I'm not talking about that.
So, but in order for us to continue this partnership or explore a possibility with the Y, we need to allow them to continue to do due diligence. And so up until now, the conversations with the Y have been to talk about what a agreement might look like and how the funds would come from and what that would look for the town. We haven't gotten to plans and we don't have any numbers. We're still a ways away from all that. So tonight was not meant to come before you with a plan of what a YMCA would look like. It was just to give you an update on all the work that's been done so far and then where we want to go next.
Well, as I read this, and the counselor could correct me, they could spend the 400 grand, say, no, can't do it.
True. Or
Yes.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
But with the work that's done, if they can't do it, the town, my plan B would be for the town, if the Y just doesn't work out for whatever reason, we would look to build an indoor pool for the town. And that study that they've done
Belongs to us.
belongs to us.
exactly.
So that's the point of it. It's a win-win. I don't know how you lose with that, but
And
I don't know how we're hoodwinked either. It's our property. It's going to be our property that we're spending our money on.
The intent is to do a long-term lease with the YMCA if this does work, not sell the property outright. But also just to reiterate that it's not a blank, the town's not writing a check to the Y for $400,000. The intent would be for the Y they have to follow town procurement policy, so they'd have to go out to bid, they'd have to hire the appropriate vendors for the things that they need to do. There's additional geotechnical services that they would need to do. There's also a financial feasibility study that they would look to do, architectural services, structural design services, mechanical, electrical, plumbing services, pool design services, and cost estimates. All of that is part of the project. But if at any point the town and the Y realize that if we get a preliminary number and it's 20 million, 25 million, and it's just as cost prohibitive as a new senior center, community center, well, we'll just pull the plug right then. We'll bring it to the council and you guys can give us the direction of if you want to pull or keep going. At every stage, we have the opportunity to pull out of this arrangement. And so does the YMCA. This is only an exploratory phase, and it's only meant to continue the discussion and the dialogue that we've been having for some time now.
And they talk about hoodwinked, as I'm thinking back to when Park and Rec made their presentation of a 50,000 square foot senior center, community center pool, which was just crazy. And we spent money on an architect that gave us pretty pictures and no content. Had a lot of pictures, looked really nice, but nice drawings, looked like the Taj Mahal remade here in Berlin. We spent money on that with none of this. This should have been done already, quite frankly, with this money. When Park and Rec hired the architect, they did none of that, which was very disappointing to me. And I think the whole council was not happy with what we spent and what we got on that presentation. So this all should have been done already with this fund, with these funds. Now we're doing it again. We're going to go through it and get it done the right way with partnership with the Y. But again, it is for the town if the partnership doesn't work out, the town has the information we need to look at it to be built with taxpayer money. So it's kind of a win-win. I don't see any lose, there's no lose on this for the town.
Would the town have any input in the design process?
Sure. I mean, we would talk to them. I mean, if they're going to build it, but there's certain things that, obviously the pool, we want the pool to support the swim team, right? That was the number one thing in all of our, informal discussion with the Y was that's the first thing we need. We like a gym and we want some other, rooms if possible, but that was the most important thing. So we've kind of been through this many, many times. I think we wasted a ton of time, quite frankly, with what the town was looking to do. No one was going to put up a 50,000 square foot building. You don't find that in New York City. Never mind for Berlin. There's not one. Go look around Berlin, and we did. Go look around Connecticut. We looked at all these facilities. The latest one was in Newtown. They got, I don't know what they spent on that building. It was probably over 20 million. They got a $10 million grant, I think, from GE on that building, and because of the horrible stuff that happened in Newtown. But they're losing money, and most towns are, with the buildings that they have put up, because it's a huge expense, certainly going forward with a pool. So we've looked at this ad nauseum. We've got to move forward. We've got to, make a decision. If the Y can do it in conjunction with working with the town, it's a win-win for everybody. If they can't, then it falls back to the town and, referendum and $25 million building perhaps. And I'm afraid, I was certainly afraid with the plans that Park and Rec gave to us initially, then I think they went down to 30,000 square feet, which is still kind of ridiculous. If that goes to referendum today, tomorrow, 5 years from now, remember we voted down a $20 million police station, okay? I don't think we're going to vote a $30 million project to build this, knowing what it would do to the town's taxes and everything else. But that's why this approach is much more, to me, fiscally responsible. And it's what towns are doing. I mean, go to Plainville, go to Southington. They have Plainville is their senior center and community center. The Southington Y is in conjunction with the senior center. And it's worked in other towns too. The ones that we looked at and took, I think, a year and a half and visited all these sites all around the state and saw what worked and what didn't work. And what we were proposing initially does not work for most towns our size. Mansfield is looking to close theirs, which is owned by the town, that's doing so badly because they're in the red. So that's why we're here. It's not just we just decided to come up with this tonight. This has been a very, very long process to get it right. Yes,
Do you
I'm
think
sorry.
Mr. Benigni could
Sure.
answer my question?
Sure.
How they're going to keep the town involved in this?
Absolutely.
process?
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I've given some presentations in the past. We would certainly be doing more. Each item on there, engineering, it would have to be approved. I'm in constant contact with Ryan, such like that. So every part would have to be approved to keep you in the loop. And then we would give presentations. I mean, the way that this is going to work, though, is it has to be the cost has to be down for it to work. It can't, you can't, like, we were in a meeting the other day. Oh, I want a certain community room. No, we're gonna try to get those 3 items in this building. Most importantly, that competition pool, and then go from there, a gymnasium and such. The other thing I think that's really missing in the conversation, I think that should be stated here, is that the carrying cost of a facility, that's on the Y. So I, with all due respect, hoodwinked or whatever, we have to do our due diligence to assure that we can carry this building into the future. Lifeguards, electric, insurance, you name it. Those are expensive items. The single biggest item in a Y facility that costs the most money is that pool. The number one things that you want and that I want for this community is that pool. But that's the single biggest cost to a YMCA. So I hope I answered your question.
You did.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
As it would be to the town. So if we can work out the partnership with obviously they're saving, we're releasing them the land. I just, it's kind of a no-brainer if it works, you know, feasibly with the expense that the Y can build it. And again, it's just, you know, it's another step forward that we've waited a long time to do and get the information that we really need, which we never got from the first plan from our own Park and Rec, unfortunately, and from that initial architect, but pretty pictures. So that's why we're here, to move this thing forward, and let's get going. Thoughts, questions? Anybody else?
Motion.
Let's make the motion.
Move to authorize the town manager to enter into a pass-through agreement with the Meriden, New Britain, Berlin Young Men's Christian Association Incorporated to convey $400,000 from architecture and engineering fees account, state DMHAS Community Center grant for planning and feasibility analysis to construct a YMCA facility on town land on Patterson Way, and to enter into an exclusive lease negotiating agreement to lease the Patterson Way property to Meriden, New Britain, Berlin Young Men's Christian Association Incorporated, YMCA, subject to the review and approval of Corporation Council.
Second on that? Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all is in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Right. Moving on, the next item, item 2 on new business is, this is a topic I brought up during my manager's update at the last council meeting, and that is the need for a full-time HR generalist position in the town. Now, this is something that I've been in conversations with our Human Resource Director, Paula Carabetta, who is here with us this evening as well. This was something that I included in my proposed budget for fiscal 2027. And it's been reviewed by the Board of Finance, and it's brought forward. It's in the budget that will be presented to you and the annual budget hearing as well. The intent of this is as our hiring has grown and as the sheer volume of work has grown in town, there's just a number of services that are duties that our HR director is performing on a daily basis that is piling up, and we have a part-time position that we're looking to dissolve, and the request would be to instead have a full-time HR generalist position in place of that part-time position. And so there's just a number of items here that are job duties, job postings, interviewing, scheduling, workers' compensation, safety committee, DOT, CDL drug screenings. All of this is on our HR director at the moment, as well as just the sheer number of items that come up every day. And I know because I am constantly speaking with Paula about a variety of issues a number of times a day. So I'd like to invite Paula up to speak on this. The need is certainly there in the town. It is it's a minimal budget impact due to retirements and due to like I said, the dissolving of one part-time position within human resources, but also a restructuring within the finance department as well. So it comes at an opportune time because of retirements and other items where it really is the right time to add this position. And again, it's really adding additional hours to an already existing position as well. So that'll turn it over to Paula. You can ask her the tough questions.
Hi, everyone.
Lucky you. Busy, are you? Are you busy? Come on. Oh, I know. We're just
A
kidding.
lot busier than I thought I would be coming here, and it's funny, people always they always say, oh, it's a small town. There can't be that much. I swear there's more with small towns than there are when you're with cities.
Could very well be.
Yeah. So I do have kind of a spiel, but at the same time, if you guys just have specific questions you'd rather ask, I can go either way.
What do you think, folks? Questions? Yeah, sure.
So you said we're gonna dissolve one full-time position. You're shaking your head.
Yeah, part-time.
Part-time.
So it's a part-time position that we're resolving. And are you full-time and 5 days a week? here?
Correct. Yes. Yep. I'm 35 hours and then all I have is a 12-hour assistant. So that's what we'll be dissolving and then hopefully moving to a full-time. Yep.
And this new person's gonna be here.
Same thing. It might be, I mean, again, it depends on who it is. We do have flex schedules, but typically it would be Monday through Friday as well. 35 hours. Yes. Same thing.
Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
Bells? Nothing? We good? Yeah, we already had talked about this. Yeah. Yeah,
I did pull like a research request study through CONPELRA. So that's the Connecticut Chapter Labor Relations Board. I served on it for lots of years, but they allow us to utilize them and reached out to a bunch of towns just to understand that are all comparable to us. So in that like 16,000 to like 20,000 demographic range. And I got 16 towns to reply back. And out of all of them, only one does not have at least 2 full-time people. So this is a very typical normal for this size town to have at least 2 full-time people.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, for myself, I think it's warranted, and I think we all know whether it's the private sector or the public sector, HR is never, always a difficult, busy department to work in, put it that way. So, I think it's good to give you the added staff to handle things, appropriately and timely, so. Anything else, folks? Not, we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to approve the Human Resources Generalist position within the Human Resources Department.
A second? Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
I,
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
you're welcome.
Paula. All right.
Oh,
Oh,
Paula has a future in Hollywood. I saw the videos.
that was
No, you're a natural.
She's gotten the nickname One Take Paula.
one take, Paula.
All right, we'll move on to item number 3. So we're moving back to the Timberland Golf Course, and this is a request for a purchase. The golf course has been diligent in having funds available for capital items that they're able to purchase. And this is an item that is off state contract that is very badly needed at the golf course. And it's called a Sand Rake Pro. And what it does is it rakes the sand in the bunkers. And Saul, or director of golf, sent me a video to take a look at. It's pretty cool in action. It's a motorized vehicle that can go from course to course or hole to hole, bunker to bunker, and take care of the sand. So Saul, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Ryan. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Saul.
So as Ryan says, we're requesting approval to buy a new Sand Rake Pro. This ride-on machine will have better care for our new capillary concrete system. It will have a rake system, so look at it as like a leaf rake with the teeth. It's aerifying the sand rather than what we have now is a paddle system. It's kind of pushing the sand in to the ground a little bit too much. So it will have too much force for the longevity of our capillary concrete. So this new rake system, this new ride-on Bunker Rake Pro will help the longevity of our new bunkers.
Okay. Questions, folks? Can we hire a couple guys with a rake? I mean, is that something that we could do? It might be more economical, Saul? I'm just kidding, Saul.
Actually, the process
do it.
there, Mr. Mayor, is we'll use this Sand Pro machine first, and then hand rake the rest. So
Oh,
rather than
okay. So
hand
there we
raking the
go.
whole bunker,
Gotcha.
you're only hand raking about 5% of it.
Gotcha. All right. What do you think, folks? Motion?
Yep.
There nothing else? Take a motion.
Move to approve the purchase of a Sand Rake Pro using State Connecticut Department of Administration Services contract number 112624-TTC from Turf Products Company for an amount not to exceed $34,000.
Take a second. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's all right. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you, everyone. See you on the golf course.
All right. Thanks, all.
So,
A little bit too cold yet.
right. We'll move on. Agenda item number 4. This is an item that will be familiar to you all. We've spoken a lot about the Glen Street Bridge project, and we've previously allocated the funding necessary for the project. And then this is the authorization to allow myself to enter into a contract agreement with WMC Consulting Engineers of Newington, Connecticut for a construction engineering inspection project. Our Public Works Director, Mike Ahern, is with us, so I'll turn it over to Mike, but pretty straightforward.
Hey, Mike.
Ryan, you did a great job. Yeah, just to add on to this, you both the town council and board of finance approved the budget transfer to set up the funding for this, which is 100% coming back to the town, which is great. So that's all set in place. So WMC's contract was worked out with DOT. Jeff took a look at it. I took a look at it. So we're ready to have it signed off. The fee is $395,200, which was negotiated primarily between WMC and DOT. They have their own process with these federally funded projects. So if we can get your permission to have Ryan sign the contract and get that rolling this week. And Dayton Construction has already started. You'll see some activity around. They're putting up the detour signs. They're covering them. They've done some tree clearing down at the site, and they're also doing some utility markout work. So they've already started what I'm calling pre-construction, and they should be starting probably by mid-April at the bridge site. So we're having a pre-construction meeting actually this Thursday with WMC and Dayton Construction. So we're ready to roll on this project.
All right. That's good. Just a quick question that came up in our podcast, just out of curiosity. Maybe I know we heard the number. How many bridges does Berlin have? 37? Is that a number?
37 that I know of. Yes.
Oh, I was right on the point. All right. So
Yeah.
that's excellent. 37 bridges. Okay.
Yes.
We understand they're not the size of the Golden Gate. They're very small bridges, but that did come up in our podcast somehow in discussing this project. Yeah. That's all right. That's all right.
Just,
Yeah.
just for local history, this has been known as double bridges.
This
Yes,
Oh.
I'm sure Richie knows that, right, Rich?
this one here?
Yes, there's
Why?
actually 2 bridges there.
Ah.
If you go and look,
Yeah, he's right.
So 38 then. That bridge
Yeah,
is 38.
38.
All right,
We got
we're at
two
38.
that's how we distinguish that fishing spot from the other one.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, I learn something every day here. See? All right. Any other questions, folks? We've talked about this, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll take a motion.
Move to authorize the town manager to enter into a contract agreement number 2026-10 with WMC Consulting Engineers of Newington, Connecticut for the construction, engineering, and inspection services on the Glen Street Bridge replacement project in the amount of $395,200, as this is in the best interest of the town.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's so moved.
All right, great, thank you. And Mike's here for the next item as well. This is another one that will be familiar to you all. This is in regards to the bonus sidewalks that we discussed. We have this 2023 connectivity grant,
Cool.
which is set to begin construction very soon. So we're getting new sidewalks in town. You may recall, I think it was the last council meeting, we came before you to get your input on potentially there's more monies left in the grant, and so we can do additional sidewalks. So you prioritize segments on Percival Ave as well as Four Rod Road. And so this is for the cost of design and permitting of these 2 additional segments, as well as there's 85,300 as well for construction, but that's reimbursable from the grant, right? So I'll turn it over to Mike again, but that's where we're at.
Yes, this is so what we did was we took the results from the last council meeting where we had 3 additional segments that you ranked. We ran the numbers. We think we can get the first 2 in the project. The third one was just a little bit too expensive. So that one so the first one was Percival segment, the Percival segment down to the Knights of Columbus driveway, and then the 4-rod road south from Streamside, which is basically connecting to the base segment in the scope. We're also going to be a part of this request is to also increase the construction, inspection, and engineering. Dave Thorne in our office has been doing a lot of the field work. So since we have grant money, we want to increase the professionals out on the site and lighten his load a little bit so we can focus on some other things. So the first contract amendment would be $37,000 to fully design the 2 segments so we can get the change order pricing from the contractor and also get some permitting from DOT. And then the second request is to add $85,300 to their construction inspection scope. And just to comment too, WMC was selected through a competitive procurement process initially to set up this base contract. So this is amending their existing contract, which was done through an RFP process.
Great, thanks. So this is not costing us, as we discussed last time, right? Not a penny more. This is within this is all within the original grant amount, right? That we obviously
Correct.
the bids came in less and we have this extra funding to do more.
Correct.
Yeah, which is great. Okay. That's a good deal. Seems like a good deal. What do you guys think? Anything? We did talk about it last time. Okay. Take a motion.
Move to authorize the town manager to execute contract amendments with WMC Consulting Engineers, Newington, Connecticut, in the amount of $37,000 from the Grant Road Improvement Account for design of additional sidewalk segments and $85,300 from the 2023 Connectivity Grant Account for additional construction inspection and contract administration services.
Yes. Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the council? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Take care.
See ya.
All right, moving along here. So agenda item number 6, we're going to go back to, if you all recall, the Augustus Moore Homestead.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this council approved $255 to go towards the purchase of this property. Now, it's not going to be town owned. The Berlin Land Trust will be the owners of the property. And however, it did seem that it would be in the town's best interest to ensure that there was public access on this parcel using town funds to help to purchase it. So myself, Chris Edge, who's here this evening, and Jim Mahoney have been working with Honor Lawler and the Berlin Land Trust Honors with the Trust for Public Land and a potential conservation easement on the property. And that is what we're here to discuss this evening. So I'll turn it over to Chris.
Thank you. Chris Edge, 240 Kensington Road. Yes, essentially here referral to our Planning and Zoning Commission under 8-24 to take a look at the conservation easement. Again, it is going to be not an ownership piece, but we're going to basically ability for the public to get onto the property as we are essentially what I'll call an investor in the property in its long-term as something of importance in the town. So essentially you can see the map here and what we're looking at, and this is sending it to Planning and Zoning. Make sure it looks okay, and if so, we'll come back to you at that point.
Great. Questions, folks? All right. So we're all good, I think. So we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Move to refer the acquisition of the conservation easement on a portion of the Nelson Augustus Moore property on High Road to Planning and Zoning Commission for a report pursuant to CGS 824.
Take a second. Thank you. Hearing no other comments or questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Right, so moved.
Sure.
On this, this is the only area that's gonna be open for easement. In red here, that's it.
That is the area we're looking at for the conservation area that the town would actually have at that point. I believe with the land trust itself, I'm not sure exactly their plans on it, but that's kind of the town's part of the easement.
So the reason for just that portion is that the state requires an easement. So if you recall the way that the purchase takes place, the town's funds were meant to purchase the area that includes the homestead itself. But because of that, the state and federal grants couldn't be utilized for that area. So they have their own conservation easement. So there will be public access for the whole property. We just wanted to ensure that this piece, yeah, so it really is the entire property. And like I said, Honor is online as well if and could speak if you have more questions.
I'm familiar with the property, so I was just trying to figure out why just a small piece over there and not the, but we as a town will have access to the majority of that.
Yes.
With, of course, permission of the land trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so we'll move on to agenda item number 7. This
Lucky
is
number
another
7.
item that should be familiar to you all. This is in regards to an OSWA grant, an open space and watershed land acquisition grant that the town received, and this is to purchase a 0 Chamberlain Highway, which is included as well in your packet. I'll turn it over to Chris again. I know this has been talked about quite a bit, and this is to finalize the agreement.
Yes, we did receive the grant to purchase the piece of property. It is the rear piece of the on Fontanella property, if you remember. So this
Oh, yeah.
it's one of the pieces that'll connect into our existing trail system off the Chamberlain Highway. And again, the good thing is too, we had received the OSWA grant from the state. And essentially, this is allowing our town manager to execute the agreement for the grant, as well as to send it to our, excuse me, Planning and Zoning Commission for the 824. And that's particularly for providing a conservation and public land recreation easement to deep. So essentially, the two pieces would be allowing the signature for the grant, as well as sending this to Planning and Zoning.
Great.
Again, under 824, because it is a piece of property that we're going to be having a conservation easement on, excuse me.
Gary? Yep, we had a lot of discussions about this, but you folks have any other questions? No? We're good? All right, we're going to take a motion, Tran.
Move to authorize the town manager to execute on behalf of the town of Berlin an open space and watershed land acquisition grant agreement, including a conservation and public recreation easement and agreement for property known as 0 Christian Lane Highway. Map 25-4, Block 74, Lot 49, OSWA number 691, with the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, and to manage said land as open space land pursuant to Section 7-13, 1D of the Connecticut General Statutes. In addition, to refer the granting to deep of a conservation and public recreation easement on the property to Planning and Zoning Commission review pursuant to 8-24 of the Connecticut General Statutes, and to certify that the town complies with the non-discrimination agreements and warranties under 4-A-60 through 4A-60A of the Connecticut General Statutes, all subject to review and approval of the Corporation Council.
Take a second. Thank you. Any, not hearing any other comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Great. And Chris is here for the last item
Mhm.
too, and this is a recommendation from the Economic Development Commission for a tax abatement for Westwood Real Estate Holdings LLC. So Chris, I'll turn it to you.
Thank you. Yes. So this is the last vacant lot on Clark Drive. It's immediately behind Liberty Industries, which fronts on Commerce Street. This parcel's been there for a while, has changed hand a couple times. The Westwood Group, which is based out of Stamford, essentially has gotten a planning and zoning approval to put up a 20,000 square foot building. Right now, it is going to be built largely on spec, meaning they have no immediate tenants in place. Right now, they're looking at likely splitting it into 4 or 5,000 square foot units, which really would be about the right size for our marketplace right now. I could potentially see it being manufactured one of our clean contractors, HJC Plumbing Electrical. The good news is seeing the new construction happen is a good thing, especially now because there's not a lot of industrial space, and economic development again approved them for a 5-year tax abatement based upon our existing policy because they're spending over, let's see, $2.3 million on the property. So it's kind of nice to see. And again, economic development was fully behind it and looking for your support as well.
All right, Chris. And this is in our normal, obviously, as we say here, per our normal tax abatement policy, right? It's
Yep, yes.
we've had for a while. Okay, folks, comments or questions?
No.
Nothing? Okay, we're going to take a motion.
Move to approve a tax abatement for Westwood Real Estate Holdings LLC for a 4,000 square foot expansion at 53 Clark Drive, of 50% in year one.
It's for 20,000 square feet.
20,000 square foot building, yes, that is my mistake on the
Okay,
motion.
so I apologize, it should be the 20,000 feet. If you can just start from there.
Move to approve a tax abatement for Westwood Real Estate Holdings LLC for a 20,000 square foot expansion at 53 Clark Drive, of 50% in year one, 40% in year two, 30% in year three, 20% in year four, and 10% in year five, per the town's tax abatement policy.
Thank you. Second on that. Thank you, Donna. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right, so moved.
Thank you very much, and I apologize for that mistake, but thank you very much. And
Thanks, Chris. Okay. On to appointments.
Yep.
Three, right?
So the first one would be, well, we have a couple. We have,
Couple
for
notes.
the Constable Tim Zigmont has put in, application.
Okay. So we have, we'll put up the nominations for constable. Nominate, so I want to nominate Tim Zigmont. Anybody? Oh, come on, I'll nominate Tim
I'll
Zigmont.
nominate Tim.
All right.
Thank you.
Peter. All right, any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll close the nominations and take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved. All right, Tim. Welcome. Is there a new constable?
Now, the next one, Tony Lizio was just appointed a couple months ago.
Right.
But it was for a very short period.
Right, yeah.
So that is why this is back.
Gotcha.
It was looked at. Unfortunately, it was only like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, that spot, we put him in, right? We had to do that, though.
Yeah. All right. So now he can go on for a full term.
Gotcha. Okay. So we'll open the nominations for the Housing Authority, nominate,
Nominate Anthony Letizio.
okay, any other nominations? Hearing none. We'll close the nominations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so moved. And Veterans Commission. Great. Excellent. So we have a nomination there. We'll go ahead and open the nominations for the Veterans Commission and nominate.
I'd like to nominate Matthew Curio.
Yes, great. Any other nominations for this position? Hearing none, we'll close the nominations. All those in favor of Matthew?
Aye.
Opposed? Right, so moved. Well, welcome Matthew to our Veterans Commission. Thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so much for that. Where are we at now? Oh, we already did the town manager's report. Look at that.
Hmm.
Wow. And we have our special committee reports. Hasn't been any? No, we haven't done any, right?
No.
I don't think so, right? No. All right, so, oh, wow, okay. Counselor communications. So, right, we talked about this. We're gonna maybe move these up to maybe after the
After
town
the
manager.
manager.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So in the next, we'll take care of that in the next
Yep.
thing. So, all right, so what do we folks have for counselor communications? Anything? Yes.
I just want to speak to what Vanessa talked about. She came here tonight to talk to us about this.
Yes.
I mean, I think as a community, if we can afford a new Sandrake Pro, we can afford to not lose any teachers this year. One of the women who is in line to lose her job is a beloved teacher at McGee. She teaches ELA. She lives in town. She has kids in the schools. I know that we're always making hard decisions and it's important to be fiscally responsible, but I really fear what's going to happen if we continue to not give them money to meet contractual obligations. And this is affecting people that we live with and that we know. So I just wanted to reinforce what Vanessa said as we continue to go through the budgeting process.
Okay. Appreciate that. Anybody else? We got
I
Charlie?
just wanted to follow up on Donna's report earlier about the testimony at the state legislature. The situation with the water departments is really misunderstood. It's not a political issue. And acquiring the other two water departments by the town is actually not beneficial to the town. It's not beneficial to anybody's pocketbook. The problem I see, I've been watching this since I've been on the council and even before as a contractor. There's no plan to go forward. The infrastructure's in disrepair. The amount of groundwater that goes into these dilapidated sewer system is ridiculous. And if the fire districts had a plan, if they came to the town and said, over the next 5 years, we're going to invest X number of dollars and start to repair this, it'd give us something to work with. But there's no communication and there seems to be no plan. And it's a matter of public health and safety now. We have the Mattabesset sewer treatment plant being overwhelmed with infiltration. And there's actually a danger where DEEP could say, this is not tenable, it's hurting the health of the Connecticut River. It could actually issue a moratorium on new construction in town. Now would stop economic development dead in its tracks. There's a new proposal that was approved by DEEP and now they're rethinking it to isolate sections of the water, one of the fire districts, to allow New Britain water to flow into the other sections. Very complicated engineering design, but essentially it'll create more dead-end mains, which will reduce fire pressure, firefighting ability for pressurized water, which is a matter of safety, and also creating a dead-end main. The water doesn't flow, and it can create an area for bacteria to grow. Am I explaining this correctly, Ray? Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Well, I'm trying to simplify it, and by making them private fiefdoms and isolating from each other, it's really becoming a health and safety issue. And I know people have said the town council has no right to touch them and this and that. The town council has every obligation to make sure the people in this town are healthy and safe, and we got to do something.
Yeah, you can't talk from there, but, so while we're talking about it though, so Donna, do we want to send some more?
I mean, it's at the point where we have the hearing, it's not going to go to committee.
It's not.
Because, I mean, unless a small miracle happens between now and then, there's pushback. I mean, there's pushback from Worthington, and I'm sure there's pushback from Kensington. I have to say, I even went on the Kensington Fire, because that's my water district, okay? And I'm looking at a 2023 water report. Well, it's 2026. I'm thinking, don't we have to do some sort of a water report once a year? Well, where is that for
That's the
3
last
years?
one?
That's the last one that's visible. I certainly know that nothing's been mailed to me. Anything mailed to you, Peter? Okay, so what am I drinking here? What am I paying for? There's nothing on their website, and that just by chance. I think we need to educate the people in this town somehow, some way, and explain to them that we have no control over Kensington. The town of Berlin is not running the shop there, and we're not running the shop at Worthington either. God forbid something happens, the people of this community are going to look to us. What are you people doing?
True.
We need to get the word out, put stuff on our webpage, on our Facebooks. This is not a political issue. This is a health issue for the people in this community. It's a big problem.
Can I-
Absolutely.
I just want to remind the council that at our April 7th meeting, we'll have the folks from Haley Ward.
Oh, right.
We're gonna,
Yeah.
it's gonna be
That's good.
primarily a meeting dedicated to this very issue because it's that important. And we're going to be talking about the results of the Haley Ward study, but also next steps. And that's exactly what you're talking about because education needs to happen where we get the report out. First, we want the council to be briefed on what the report entails. But then the next component is going to be, okay, we got to let our residents know about the report results as well.
They had an understanding about this, they would be outraged.
I know. I mean,
Can't imagine people are going to be okay with this and the amount of money they're going to have to pay.
Or
it's
at
a
least,
problem.
or at least insist the fire districts come up with a plan to correct it, one or the other, you know.
One of the things I pointed out in my testimony in Hartford last week was that the report, the executive summary confirms that the average Berlin water resident of the districts, the Kensington or Worthington, could save, the average household could save in between $300 and $1,000 a year on their water bill. And that's in
a
the
lot.
report. That's a lot.
A lot of
So
money.
If we all
if
merge
we
together.
were to merge and,
Yeah.
and so that's the results of the findings, not to get ahead of the April 7th meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, come on up, Ray.
This is a-
First of all, I want to thank you very much for bracing me.
Thank you,
Both guys
guys.
Did a wonderful job getting all three of us at the same time in the same location. Was extremely helpful. The other issue is we had 3 minutes each. And we were actually asked for another 15, 20 minutes. And then one of the legislators, actually two of the legislators walked out with us and asked us a lot more questions, which they understood what was necessary to do. The biggest problem here is not only do they not have a plan, there's no proposal for one, there's no idea for one, and when we've reached out, we get silence. It thwarts my job to do a job for the town, and it burns me up physically, personally, because, for instance, the Berlin pumping station needs to be addressed. It's a $5 to $9 million project. I've reached out with them. I've worked with Jeff on an MOU. This is going on its second year. No one wants to reply. We've asked them several times in that course of a year, what's your story? I'm proposing this and I get no feedback whatsoever. And it's been constant. So we get silence on the other side. I don't know how to deal with it anymore. We have another bill that's going to be coming, as Liam mentioned. It's going to be probably the same size it was last year. So it's going to be substantial. In the meantime, Mattabassett keeps getting more and more I&I. I just went out this morning, asked them to take a picture of the meter at Baxter Avenue. This is 4.86 million gallons. They don't use more than 700,000 gallons per day. So this is what's infiltrated, 6 times more in
What?
terms of a factor that comes in. That's for
That
one
much.
day. Now, that's the flow at that time. So the flow for the entire day may be 3 million gallons. It's still substantial.
Yeah.
And I did this knowing that it's going to be a large amount because of the rain.
Oh, I was just going to say, is it because of all that rain, right?
Happens all the time. And they would like us to believe that they can only pay for about 190,000 or 190 million gallons per year that they actually pay for purchasing from New Britain. And then we would have to pay for the balance, which is another 100 million gallons. So it's not fair to our customers, period. I don't know how to make it. And I've reached out to them, and Jeff knows as well. We've reached out to them and asked them, if you don't like the process, help us to try and change the process. We kind of try to do it as fairly as possible. But when you're talking to someone who's not talking back to you, I don't know how to deal with that issue.
I mean, what's hard to believe in this day and age that these two entities, good or bad, they're not regulated at all, obviously, from what I could see. Nobody regulates them. I know they're created by the state, but
With Deep and
yes.
and Jeff knows the fact of the matter is Deep supposedly issued a diversion permit, but then again, now I'm looking at it and saying they haven't per se. On the other
Okay.
hand, they ignored everything I gave them as far as information, and they came back and said, this is not in their scope.
Deep.
I think to myself, well, it's not in your scope. Why are you approving this rather than rejecting it? If it's not in your scope, don't leave it as is.
Good point.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
And they don't have, there's no answer.
They're still trying to figure it out. So that's the whole point with them.
I mean, how can we have these two entities that are not regulated by anybody? Nobody cares what they're doing. We have no control over, the state doesn't care or has no control. It's hard to believe in this day and age that they can exist like this and do what they want
It's
and not at least cooperate with us.
commissioners, three on each side that are controlling this whole process. Most, everybody,
To believe.
there's no public transparency here.
Right.
Go to a
Well,
meeting,
apparently not.
we've had a couple of gentlemen, and this one included Liam and Dave Duro. They've gone to the meetings and they don't want to be there. They don't want them there at all. So this is part of the problem.
The
It's
only
not,
comment from Kensington is we are the most efficient commission in the town of Berlin. And that's less than a year ago. And we've had everybody that goes to their meeting gets the same speech. Now, I was mentioning earlier about. I was mentioning earlier about their water transfer there and keep allowing that to happen. They're going to depend on a 220-inch lines to feed the rest 2/3 of Berlin on a line that's nearly 100 years old, which is the same problem that Waterbury had, except these are on major streets going into New Britain. This is what we're dealing with. Not to mention, when they start shutting off and turning on valves at their leisure, they potentially could destroy our system as well, cause problems. You can't have surges in these old lines. You're going to probably have more problems, but you know, it boils down to we're arguing with our own family here.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not helping us at all. So the public needs to step up and say, you need to liquidate.
Mm,
And they can do that
yeah.
by protesting.
I know. We've tried to get that out for years, that you can go to the meeting and vote themselves out of existence. But nobody seems to understand that. It's very hard to get that out there.
Nobody can find a meeting.
Nobody can find, they do,
Really awful happening for it to happen.
yes,
You know what I mean?
that's what we,
I think.
Another
yeah, that's what we're
water bill.
trying to avoid. Yeah, yes, yeah,
That's why I mentioned the dollar amount that they could
Yeah.
potentially save, because I think ultimately, you know, letting residents know that they could save up to $1,000 a year, that's going to get them.
We had a house blow up.
Worthington shuts down tomorrow, we gain $300,000 a year in profit. We already supply their water. It's a matter of just the billing. We already have that set up. We could take them over in a week.
But we'd also get their liability.
Right, sure.
Yeah, it's not that.
no, we'll get the,
Yeah, but we got that now.
Yeah.
yeah, we have it no
No,
matter what.
there's no difference there. We're responsible for them.
So, right?
Yeah,
They don't have the money.
yeah, I mean, they're in the town.
Repairs now. Well, I mean, they reimburse us, but the first thing they do is call you up and say, hey, we got this problem out there and they can't get it fixed.
We had a house blow up and the fireman ran to the fire hydrant and it didn't work. How many more hydrants don't work? We don't know.
How could how could the legislature just ignore it?
You
That's
know,
amazing, Donna, right? Not
At
you,
least-
obviously.
I mean,
you're
at least we were
in
able
the-
to get a hearing. I was thrilled
Yes.
that they got us a hearing.
God, yeah.
And
But that's
I
all we
was
get.
hoping that we would move along to get to,
So what was the point of rejection though? I mean,
well, they,
Right.
they submitted testimony saying that there was some legal jargon and maybe our good attorney could help me with this. What was the reason that they gave us? There were two things. They used the charter being one.
example, but
And then they also said something about the Secretary of State to change legislation like that, acts, special acts that you're supposed to do at least 10 days before the meeting or some such, which is just an excuse, quite honestly, because this was submitted in writing in terms of a bill, okay, in January. So that's just an excuse. And
Well, I read the.
yeah,
I didn't, the only one that was really a questionable issue is the charter one. Because it talks about not affecting the authority. But however, there's a part in the charter that talks about the town's overall authority. And this is the problem. They're not playing with us in the proper, they're actually hindering us.
I'm-
And that's a problem. And I see personally.
Yeah.
I can't work with that because I don't know what to do with my next step. I have a deep
Right.
proposal for a priority listing for the Berlin pump station. I can't move forward with that until I know that there's a percentage that's gonna go to each of those
I mean, they can't have it both ways if, you know, they don't want to recognize or work with us and they're claiming there's no authority, we have no authority over them in the charter, then I guess if they fail, I guess it's up to them to maybe the residents could sue all of them personally and, you know, recover the money to fix what they haven't fixed. I mean, I can't even understand this as a student of government, just to not understand how they could just,
Council say about that.
yeah, I mean, it's.
Well, legal counsel has a lot to say, but I'm gonna, in the interest of not rehashing things over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Let's just be clear about a couple of things, okay?
Yeah.
First of all, the town charter does not in any way impact the General Assembly's ability to pass whatever legislation it is the will of the General Assembly to pass.
Right. Yeah.
The General Assembly created fire districts. The General Assembly can amend its enabling legislation. It can rescind or revoke its enabling legislation. The provision in the charter that gets thrown around simply says that nothing in the charter with respect to the Berlin Water Control Commission interferes with the existing fire districts. We're not talking about the town through the charter or through the town council imposing anything upon the fire districts. The fire districts are not agencies of the town. They are separate legal entities created by special legislation. So the charter, because if they were town agencies, then you'd have an issue because, you know, Connecticut's a home rule state, and under the Municipal Powers Act 7-148 of the General Statutes, municipalities have certain jurisdiction. But these are not town agencies. They are not governed by the town charter, and the legislature is not in any way limited by a provision in the town charter that says nothing in 8-7 of the town charter shall be deemed to impair the pre-existing rights of the water districts. That's the end of that issue. I don't want to talk about it again. Okay. The issue with water utilities is very political. Okay. I was up there for 9 hours at Energy and Technology a few weeks ago with respect to the legislature's proposed bill to revoke legislation from 2 years ago that allowed Regional Water to bid on Aquarion. Okay. And if you watched or attended the oral argument at Pura yesterday, at which the Attorney General himself appeared and argued, you know that water's become really, really politicized. Reality is there's 148,000 plus water systems in the United States. It's an extremely fragmented utility. There's too many small community systems. They don't have the professional management that they need. They don't have the bandwidth and the volume of revenue to be able to afford regulatory mandates and infrastructure investments. There needs to be a change. For the last 8 or 9 years, EPA has been writing to Congress about it, talking about what an issue it is, but people don't really pay that much attention to it because water is the cheapest utility. Water is also the only utility consumed in the human body, so it should be paid attention to.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the small community systems, they're like ticking time bombs. Okay.
You could see that.
A not so small community system in Connecticut is Waterbury. Okay. And we saw the issues that Waterbury's had. A not so small US public system is Richmond, Virginia. Okay. With over 300,000 customers. They in January 2025 were offline for a month. And they did a report. And you could read the autopsy report and you can understand what happens, and you see it over and over and over again. I've been the consumer affairs officer for Regional Water for 18 years. This stuff, it's just a slow burning fuse, and it's got nothing to do with KFD individually or WFD individually. It has to do with the structure and what it takes to run a water utility as a best in class utility. What's the charge? The charge should be to provide the highest quality water at a reasonable cost. How do you do that? Right? By properly managing O&M and by properly planning and investing in capital. You can't do that when you don't have enough customers unless you overcharge the customer. And even if you do overcharge the customer, You need to have a professionally run utility with proper asset management, proper infrastructure planning. I could talk about this stuff for weeks, okay? But at the end of the day, we talked
At the
about this
time.
a couple years ago. Plan was to get the water study done. You got the water study done. Get Haley Ward and Ralph Tellis in here and talk to them and see what they recommend.
One question.
Sounds like a plan.
They have the right to impede our utility.
When you say impede, okay?
Interfere to
What-
stop us from doing our business.
But when you say interfere or impede, you mean the manner in which they operate the utility impacts BWCC adversely. That's what you mean, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's an issue between it's not that they have a right to do that. It's that there's not a regulator for the three of you to go to.
Problem.
And, you know, one of the big issues that the General Assembly has with the RWA essentially, I don't want to say acquiring, but that's not what it is. But the conversion of Aquarion, which is an investor-owned utility, to an authority, a nonprofit, not regulated by PURA authority, is that they won't have PURA as their regulator. However, the RWA governance model is dramatically different and created by the enabling legislation from 1977 from the General Assembly, dramatically different than what KFD or WFD have. Okay. So it's apples and oranges, but it's what you get when you have small community systems. There's a number of challenges that, like I said, are not unique in any way, shape, or form to KFD or WFD, but everybody's all over the map on how to deal with these issues. You know, whether it's consolidation or, you know, privatization, there's all these different beliefs. And it's not all that hard to figure out that consolidation really is the way to do it, because water consumption in the United States has declined 1% a year since the 1980s. Okay. So what you see is increasing, it's declined because of active and passive conservation. Okay. Low flow appliances primarily. But at some point, because rates continue to go up while infrastructure costs go up, because the age of the infrastructure does not take into consideration the decline in consumption. And the cost of additional regulatory mandates and the cost of infrastructure drives up rates, which causes active conservation. Okay. So this whole thing is a powder keg. And so it's just a question of what's going to fail first, people's ability to pay or the system. But when you say, can they impair or impede? No, they can't compare or impede, but you don't have a regulator to go to. You don't have anybody to get in front of in a rate application to say, hey, this is how they're impacting us. You know, I mean, if this was regional water, you'd come to a public hearing on the rate application. You'd appear in front of a 20-person representative policy board, and including a representative appointed by the governor, and you'd be heard in a public setting. And, you know, as a responsible organization, they would react to it. So, you know, it's not just that you have these small systems. It's that, you know, really what the legislature ought to do is look at all the small systems and look at the governance model and say, you know what? We shouldn't have all these systems with no governance. It's one thing to create all these systems 100 years ago. It's another thing to sit here in the 21st century and pretend like it works. So really, at a minimum, take a look at the governance.
Here, because of Ray and his management, we are in excellent shape. Our pipes are in excellent shape. Granted, we have a 6% in that pie in that report, but that'll be addressed in less than 4 years because of and our rates are not going to go up. Well, they're not going to, well, my point is.
We hold you to that? Our rates aren't going up in Berlin, the Berlin water?
Well.
Just kidding, just kidding.
Yeah, but.
Just kidding.
We're pretty good on the average, but my point is that we have the management we have the money, and we have the plan to address it in the next 4 years in that 6% pie, which puts us, all of our pipes, less than 50 years old. Okay? You look at the other districts, almost 80% of theirs is 75 to 100 years old.
Wow. It's pretty scary.
And they don't have the resources.
Yeah.
We're pretty sound. That's the huge difference here. We
Yeah.
did do the right management due to who we have in charge.
Yeah, right.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate it. We'll look forward to the report on April 7th. What was that popped up there? Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you both very much.
Thanks, Liam.
In the chat, I don't know if it's not really Q&A.
No, no. So-
Who's asking the question?
No, we can't, but what?
No, we can't. I'm just curious, who was asking the
Would you
question?
speak upon the apartment being built, what no one can afford, and also about our farmland and what you can do to fix it?
Yeah, I mean, just for the benefit of that, yeah, that would be, well, planning and zoning would be one place, or you come to the council during the audience of citizens at the beginning of the meeting if you want to tell us anything next meeting or whenever you can get there. Yes, we are done with council communication.
Can I, would,
Moving on.
Moving on, and we,
okay, so this is Counselor Communications?
oh, we're still in there.
Oh, well, okay.
Yes,
Quick question. Can we do the ordinance we had talked about, that pie chart?
yes,
Can we schedule one for the next
Yes.
time we meet?
yes. We wanted to put the pie chart that shows the, that we send out with the tax bill. We wanted to make an ordinance to make sure, put it in the tax bill.
You want
Yeah.
to make an ordinance for it?
Yes,
Like an actual
Yeah.
ordinance?
because there were,
That's because
what
there
happened,
was times that it
there were
didn't
some
get,
times that didn't get put in somehow.
not in your,
Going back just-
not on your, not on
Not on your watch.
Not on your
No,
watch.
no, no,
No,
We can do that.
yeah,
If you
I
want-
mean, it's something simple.
Want to convene the ordinance review?
Yes.
committee? Is that?
Yes.
Do you think that it would be more than a 15-minute meeting?
No,
Oh, no, 2
No.
seconds.
no.
Maybe 6.
Make it a policy? And policies be ignored?
Changed.
By employee. Down.
Oh.
Ha, okay.
Town manager issue a memo.
Want me to issue a memo? Or you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm only thinking that other town managers didn't do it, so they just ignored it. Let's say it was a policy, it gets ignored. So then what do you do?
Direct them. For me
Yeah.
to Send it now?
I did that, and it just never,
Believe me,
it's
you're
never,
getting a pie chart.
it no,
It's not you.
it,
I mean, what is?
it has happened already.
Around 2 minutes. I mean, it's,
Yeah, let's do an ordinance. So let's just do an ordinance, because you know what, it's,
Here's the future councils ignoring it.
it'll be very, very quick.
Yeah,
It'll be a
we-
very quick thing. Policies get ignored. They get ignored every day, whether it's here, or the state of Connecticut, or the federal government. So,
Okay, how about 6:45 PM on April 7th?
sure.
Oh, Peter.
Okies. Peter. We'll be there, those of us. It'll be very quick. It'd be very quick. It's very easy,
seconds.
simple. I'm telling you, Joe. I would agree with you most times, but
Confrontational.
yes,
It's
it could be quick,
non-confrontational.
very quick, very quick.
Peter.
Do my best.
We'll try not to. All right, we're good. So we'll do that. Anything else, Council Communications? We
Thanks.
good? Okay, so we will go to our acceptance of the,
I move we accept the minutes of the March 3rd, 2026 meeting.
I'll second that.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. And we'll take a motion to adjourn if we could. And again, the lady that's asking the question, please come to our next meeting for the audience of citizens. That's how the meetings are conducted, and we'd be happy to hear from you and answer the questions for you. If not, we'll get you an answer. Appreciate it. All right, so motion adjourned. Do we have a second? All those in favor?
Right.
All right,
Ready?
so moved.
Oh, I'm so excited.